Don't derail me.
I took cold medicine, please. Please, just, yeah. I'm just going to have to fold if it's a challenge. So we know that the reason Hashem created the world was because he wanted a dwelling place in the lower world. Wanted a dwelling place in the lower world. What does that mean?
That's why he created the world?
Yeah. The answer to why did Hashem create the world is because he was mis'ave ladira b'tachtonim. He desired taiva. He desired a dwelling place in the lower world, in the world that ein tachton mimena, that there's no lower world from it. That's our world.
He's actually quoting somebody.
The Medrash, Chazal.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
I thought he created the world for
To
us
bestow goodness.
to enjoy his.
lahanos b'zriv shchina, like the Mesil Sisharim says.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
That's what you're thinking.
So he's quoting.
Let's just look at the Mesil Sisharim. Where's the Mesil Sisharim? This one over here.
It's all right here.
So right there. Thanks.
My favorite book ever.
Oh yeah, it's a goodie.
They're not mutually exclusive necessarily.
What he created to dwell down here, and he created it so we would worship him.
Well, we needed something to do.
Hold on. Where did you get worship?
No, it just slipped down. Sorry.
So don't we need to do something to sort of like accomplish the goal that he sets for us?
You're supposed to have fear and awe.
Adam lo nivra elas aneg al Hashem. A person was not created elas aneg al Hashem. That's why the person was created. The person was created to be misaneg al Hashem. Ulhanois miziv shchina, and to get enjoyment
A little more English.
from the ziv shchina. Okay, sorry. That the person, please tell me all the time, that the person was not created rather to get enjoyment, to be misaneg oneg, like oneg Shabbos, to get enjoyment from Hashem, on Hashem. Ulahanois miziv shchina, and to enjoy, like hana, from the splendor of his presence. Shezeh hatanug hamiti, this is the true pleasure. Va'idun hagadol, and the big enjoyment of all other pleasures and enjoyments that you could find, and the makom ha'ikar ha'idun hazeh be'emes hu olam haba. Okay, and that really is for the next world.
I don't know what the second sentence you said was.
The place of this benefit, the ultimate, the true place of this benefit is in olam haba. Okay.
Good.
Because he was created for preparation for this requirement, for this thing.
Man was created for preparation.
Well,
Why does he study science? And yada, yada, yada.
Why does he study science?
Well, he goes on.
For that was created with the design necessary for purpose. The world to come was created with the design necessary for this purpose. The world was created in order to be the place for that ultimate benefit and pleasure that we were created to receive.
A testing ground.
No, the world to come was created, and it was the place that it's the true location of where this amazing pleasure, which is the point of our creation, is to occur. This world, Ha'olam Hazeh, is not that place.
It's a sandbox. He made a sandbox, a testing ground for us here.
A sandbox is like a playground.
Yeah.
Well, it's more like he describes it as a prose door. He says, Ha'olam Hazeh domel a prose door. That this world is a vestibule before the world to come. And so that we okay. Now the Balatanya, Chassidus and Chabad Chassidus in particular really go on with this dira b'tachtonim, that Hashem created the world.
There's a difference between Chassidus and Chabad Chassidus.
Chabad Chassidus is a more, I would say, is more organized. It's more organized. You have a written book, the Tanya, that's called the Torah Shebechsav of Chassidus. Okay, it was written by the Chabad Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, and no other Chassidish sefer was written by the person who said the things. Like everything was written by the students, and either the Rebbe saw it and proofread it, or it didn't, or whatever. But the Baal Tanya, the Tanya is the only sefer in Chassidus that was written by the person who wrote it, and he took great pains to write it. He would. It says he would review the entire sefer in his mind before he would write every word. Every word, he would review the entire sefer in his mind before writing every word. There were certain letters that he had difficulty 6 months whether or not to put the vav or not put the vav. So it's a just to while we're on the topic, we have people make issues about the Masorah. What is the Masorah? How can we trust the Masorah? Maybe people who said, how the game of telephone, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't really bother me, that whole discussion, but because I think Torah is by nature, it's foolproof, because even if a mistake does fall in there and that becomes part of Torah, then that's what's Torah. Then that's part of Torah. And that's part of what we have. And that was totally bekavana. It was intentional, even if it may look like an accident to something. It was completely. That's what Torah is supposed to do. Torah doesn't get things don't become part of Torah by accident. That's one. The second thing is that the Masorah of the Tanya is a very difficult book. Tanya is a very difficult book, and there's actually like a Masorah that accompanies it. What?
I'm just questioning. I'm thinking about what you said.
Which part? The first part?
About
mistakes in the Torah? Okay, we'll leave that for another time.
Masorah versus mistakes becoming part of Torah.
Right.
Mistake is not the right word for me. It's
Okay.
maybe deviations from what we'd have thought.
Deviations from what we like. Right.
I mean,
Any deviation that comes into the Torah
Right.
becomes part of the Torah.
Right.
Becomes part of the Torah.
Right. Not
So that's a deviation.
My question: how does that address the authenticity of Masorah?
because that basically foolproofs is the authenticity of the Torah. Because if Hashem is totally overseeing Torah, like he's involved, he's very involved. Hashem is not separate from the world. He's very involved in the world. That even if there was some kind of funny thing that happened, that a certain Torah, like let's say a different girsa or a different thing came in, that was totally intentional. At the end of the day, if that made it in, that's intentional.
The whole Shas addresses reviewing Masorah.
Exactly.
And
correct.
Concluding one way or another using the rules that were set out to resolve these kinds of issues. So,
and very rarely,
and whether or not
yeah,
whether or not the conclusions, and there's no such thing as whether the conclusions are the conclusions that Hashem had in mind, because Hashem had in mind the conclusions that you draw.
exactly.
Right. That's different. That's very different from today, moving forward and trying to. We have a living Torah, so, is a robotic arm that's attached to your shoulder something that I can put tefillin on and make a bracha?
Right. So Hashem gave us brains today, and He gave us the whole Torah to study, and so obviously we need to be informed.
That's different from Masorah. Masorah, we had rules. We have rules coming down from Torah Shabbat to from Moshe Rabbeinu.
Yeah.
To everybody, and then it was written down. Everybody had notes, and then the notes were collected.
But what the halachas happen to come down as, and how the minhagim have developed.
So today, when you say mistake, because
I don't really mean mistake, but I mean
it could be today. Because you have it's
someone heard
a
the wrong
fake arm,
word.
and it's not an arm.
Someone heard the wrong word. What I don't get how the mistake has to do with a
Can
modern
you make
shaila.
a bracha l'niach tefillin if I put tefillin on a robotic arm?
I don't know, but a Talmud Chacham who knows the whole sugya, he'll be able to say.
Maybe he'll make a mistake.
Well, okay, so this is here.
That's what I mean.
So the question is
living Torah and applying it to today.
We know we said Nasa v'Nishma, and we accepted the Torah willingly. And we know there's a medrash that Hashem held a mountain over us and forced us to take it. So the question is, well, did we take it willingly or did Hashem have to force us? So one of the answers is that Tarsha B'chsav, we said Nashta v'nishma, and Tarsha B'al Peh, he had to hold the mountain over us. He had to hold the mountain over us. Why? Why Tarsha B'chsav we were so willing, Nashta v'nishma, but Tarsha B'al Peh, all of a sudden he has to hold the mountain over us. I think the answer is like this: that Tarsha B'chsav, everyone can say, okay, that's the Torah. I can be maskim that's the Torah. It starts with a Beis, ends with a Lamed. That is the Torah. I'm willing to accept that. That's it. That's the Torah. Nasa v'nishma. I'll do it. But now you're telling me that my neighbor Shmulik, he can come up with a chiddush, and that becomes Tarsha B'al Peh? And if he's a big Talmud Chacham, that becomes the halacha? What Shmulik said? And what Yasala said? And what I say? And all of what we say can become Torah? I don't know. If it's a book, I'll take the book. But I don't want to take Shmulik and Shmulik ben Shmulik and Yosef ben... I don't know if that's going to be Torah for me. I can't say. I don't know.
That's cute.
So we needed to be forced to take that. But that's what it is. We're the Jewish people. We're the bearers of the Torah. And Tarsha B'al Peh is something that is reliable. And so because... in a certain sense, it's a creation from us. It's part of what our output. Hashem gave us a brain, and He gave us the Torah thoughts, and then we churn it out, and what we churn out becomes Tarsha B'al Peh. And the Tarsha B'al Peh that we have today is what the Jewish people created, and what we have is what we have. So we're not going to get there's no better than what we have. That's really what it is. There's no other Torah we didn't get because somebody may have tripped up or something, or said a wrong word somewhere along the line. It doesn't matter. What?
New Testament.
I don't know. Yeah, there's no other Torah we're missing out. There's no more correct Torah that we didn't get. So, whatever we have, whatever the Jewish people brought as Tarsha B'al Peh and keep creating as Tarsha B'al Peh, and we have the Kayach. What's the difference between a Jew and a non-Jew? A non-Jew can't make Chidushei Torah. A non-Jew cannot make Chidushei Torah. A Jew can make Chidushei Torah. He can make Chidushei Torah, and it's Torah. And it's Torah. You'd have to say maybe a bracha before saying it. Even though Yankel said it. Yankel said it. Who's Yankel? Okay.
I've heard it. Okay, I'm sorry. Just on this point.
Yeah.
Hashem put the mountain over us is a metaphor to you will have your struggles and trials and tribulations. The world is going to batter you left and right. And mostly because of your Tarsha B'al Peh, not the Tarsha B'chsav. Because the world, a great part of the world has accepted a lot of the Tarsha B'chsav. But the Tarsha B'al Peh, it's like, it's forever and ever ongoing. And you're going to be beaten up. You're going to be, slammed around. And that's the figure, the imagination of the burden of the world is going to be on your shoulders.
A mountain is in Torah. A mountain is a symbol of avodas Hashem. A mountain and avodas Hashem are that's like the hieroglyphics of avodas Hashem is the mountain.
But not every avodas Hashem is simple.
It's a mountain. It's a mountain. A mountain, something you're either going up or you're going down. But there's no there's no horizontal.
Either you're carrying that mountain or you're not.
There's no horizontal amount. And the struggle and what we eke out and what we schwitz in that avoda is our Tarsha B'al Peh. The life of every yid is Tarsha B'al Peh. It's Tarsha B'al. And so we that's just too much for us. That's just too heavy for us. Just give me the book. It says whatever it says in the book. I'll do what it says in the book. Nice. But all these details, and my life and the squeezing out of my life, how I'm an expression of Hashem in this world through my life, through Torah, whatever. That's also Tarsha B'al Peh. That's also in the Torah. My letters in the Torah, and my life is going to be through in relation to all these struggles is going to churn out what my Torah is. Thank you. I'll read the movie. I'll read the book. I don't need the movie. Okay.
I saw a great thing about the mountain over their head is a Jewish man, if he takes a wife by force, he can never divorce her.
Uh-huh. Nice.
So Hashem can never divorce us.
Nice. I also thought that
Hashem can never divorce us because the mountain.
Because he took us by force. He said, if you don't accept it, this mountain's going on your head.
Oh, cute.
right, the
It
person.
was cute. But it's I like it.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
Unlike Ronnie, is not cute. I don't like him.
All right. So basically, the whole point of the world is for Hashem to create a dira b'tachtonim. Okay, a dwelling place in this world. That means a place where Hashem. We were talking about earlier. Hashem is king. Hashem rules. So Hashem a king can be king. King can be king, but he doesn't necessarily feel comfortable in all of his kingdom. Right? He doesn't feel the most comfortable like out and about. He doesn't even in his palace. He doesn't necessarily feel comfortable in every single room. It's not where he feels comfortable. There's a place in his house, in his palace, that he feels really comfortable. He feels really comfortable. He can totally be himself. It's completely can be totally himself, totally be expressed there. And that doesn't mean that's not his whole kingdom. His whole kingdom is not that. But he has a place where he can be fully expressed. He can really kick off his shoes. He can really be fully there, fully himself. And that's what Hashem wants in this world. He wants to be fully expressed, feel so comfortable in our world. And the Beis HaMikdash and the Mishkan and the Beis HaMikdash is that. That's the model of what we're talking about. That we have a dira b'tachtonim. We have a dira for Hashem, and this is really shechanti b'soicham. He should dwell in us. He needs to dwell in us, and final geula. It'll be in the whole world. There'll be a true expression, a full expression of Hashem's fullness and His reign and His comfort in the world. Meaning, there's nothing holding Hashem's expression back in its fullest, truest, essential self. And that means there's no other agenda. There's no other agenda. It's not Hashem's agenda, and we also have an agenda. According to the Tanya, Kedusha means transparent. Holiness means transparent. If something's holy, it's transparent. That means that there's no block to see that Hashem is mamish behind it, that it's totally Hashem. It's completely transparent because we know there's nothing else but Hashem. Everything is kulo echad. There's no other force. There's nothing else but Hashem in the world. Okay, everything's Hashem. So or Hashem's doing, and so when the kedusha is when the physical world, which is a hindrance and a blockage, an illusion of something else from Hashem. So that's not kedusha. That's klipa. That's klipa. A klipa is a shell, something blocking, something covering. But kedusha is transparent. So it's transparent, and it's so funny. If somebody was learning the Tanya for 200 years, and then it comes out, quantum physics, that really things are transparent. Things really, on the quantum level, everything really is transparent because there's no real mass here. There's no real matter here. This is all like an illusion. This of solidity. This is really transparent. Do you know how much matter is actually here? It's 0.0000000001% matter and 99.9999999% space.
It's a construct.
So it's transparent. It is transparent. The reality is that it is transparent. And so when what?
Obviously, it's not transparent.
No, but that's just because there's some kind of
It's a construct.
there's some kind of I don't know. It's not a mental. I mean, our brains are looking at this and thinking it's solid and it feels solid. That's right. And but on an elemental atomic level, there's actually nothing here. You can't deny that. There's actually nothing here. There's almost nothing here. So how because of what is the magnetic field and however the atoms are able to interact, that we can live with this being like very solid. Okay, we know that on atomic level, it's actually not. It's actually not.
And neither are we.
I mean, that's all. On an atomic level, we're actually everything is transparent.
Well, at some point, whatever we are, we would like to be reabsorbed into the source.
But I'm just saying, the Beis HaMikdash was the place of Kedusha. The Beis HaMikdash was the place of Kedusha. It was the place where there's no other agenda. And whenever we do a mitzvah, it's Kedusha. where it's Hashem's agenda. It's only Hashem's will being expressed. And so there should be a transparency there, that you can see there's nothing holding back, and there's nothing blocking, there's nothing covering over the transparency that this is Hashem's will expressed without obstruction, without obstacle. And so the Beis Hamikdash, which is a lot of laws, a lot of things, a lot of, everything there has to be just so, because it's Hashem's agenda. It's only Hashem's agenda. It's where he feels most comfortable being, where nobody's like coming up against him, and that he feels very, very comfortable, very himself, his full expression, and it's totally transparent. So the whole point is to make the whole world like that. Okay? That's the point of us, is we're trying to make the entire world like that. Okay, don't make me start breaking things, okay?
That wasn't there.
I don't know what I hit there.
How does
but-
Elul play into that?
Elul? We'll talk about it in Elul in 6 months. Okay.
So what's it?
Okay, so let's start talking about the Beis Hamikdash.
Oh, is that what we did?
Yeah, we're talking about the Beis Hamikdash. We're talking about the Mishkan, right? It's the Parshas of the Mishkan. Yeah, this is an introduction. Yeah. So basically, there's a big issue with when was the construction of the Mishkan actually given to Klal Yisrael? Right? Everybody knows there's a big machlekes. When was the instructions, the command to build the Beis Hamikdash, the Mishkan,
I hate
given?
it when you say everyone knows and I don't,
Okay.
because I feel like I'm nobody.
Okay. Really?
Not really.
Okay. Good. You know about the rabbi who falls in front of the Aron.
Who are you?
I'm nobody.
Who are you to be nobody?
Look who thinks he's nobody. Okay.
That's from the yeshiva, the Bali Musa. They used to come and say,
Ich bin garnish.
Look who says it.
Look who thinks he's nothing.
He's not holding the Bible to be a garnish.
Okay.
He's not,
So
not yet.
don't feel bad, even if you do feel like a nobody. Good. Okay. So I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Everyone says, everyone knows, including David, that there's a big machlekes about when the command to build the Beis Hamikdash was. Was it before Chet Egel, or was it after Chet Egel? I mean, if you look at the parshas go Truma to Tzava, which are two parshas about the instruction of how to build the Beis Hamikdash. Then it's Kisisa, which is the parsha of the Chet Egel, the sin of the golden calf, and then you have V'akel Pekudei, which are the two parshas at the end of the last two parshas of Sefer Shmos, which is the construction of the Mishkan, the construction of the tabernacle. So it's kind of a weird accordion. You have two that are telling you how to build it. Then you have Chet Egel in the middle, and then you have two. That's the actual building. So it doesn't seem like a linear story, and so there are three ways of looking at it. There are three ways of looking at it, the Rebbe says. Either it was commanded, like the Zohar says, it was commanded there's the command, and there's actually the taking of the Truma, right? The Truma, they took all of the supplies. What are all the different materials that are necessary? So it was instructed, it was commanded, and it was gathered from them all before Chet Egel. Okay, that's one opinion. That everything, the instruction and the taking of all of the items were before Chet Egel. The second opinion is that it was all after Chet Egel. It was all after Yom Kippur. Moshe Rabbeinu, right? The sequence of events. Moshe Rabbeinu goes up for 40 days. He comes down a little late. They start building this golden calf. Taking the gold and building this golden calf, and then Moshe comes down, and then he has to go back up for 40 days to get a slicha and kapara, and then he comes down again another 40 days later with a new set of tablets, and that third set of 40 days ends with Yom Kippur, and he comes down on Yom Kippur, and they got the new tablets, and that's when they either start building the Mishkan, or that's when they were commanded to build the Mishkan. But so that's the other opinion. One opinion is that they got the instruction and they took everything from them before the Chet Egel, right? Right after Har Sinai, whatever, they started doing it. One opinion is they got the instruction, the command, and they took everything after Yom Kippur. And the third opinion is that they were instructed to build the Mishkan before Chet Egel, but they didn't start taking the material from the Jews until after Yom Kippur, until after Chet Egel. Okay? So now the Rebbe says these are three opinions in Torah Shemal Peh. Okay, so these are three opinions in our Masorah. Okay, and so obviously they couldn't have all happened chronologically the same, right? It's that you can't have the reality be that all three they're mutually exclusive. So he says that Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim Chaim. These are all the words of the living God. Okay, and therefore they're all teaching us something. They're all teaching us something about the Mishkan. Okay, and they're all right. All three of them are right. All three of these opinions are accurate. And he'll say later they're actually all one. They're actually all one. They're really hinting on to one thing. Okay, which happened actually chronologically. The Rebbe's not saying. It's not picking one. This one is the one that actually happened chronologically. And in a certain sense, it doesn't even really matter. They all could have. There was some element that they all happened. That they all happened like that. However that could happen, there's a certain aspect that they all happened. But what the point is that however it happened, however it looked like on the ground being there, those three opinions are teaching us something very crucial about the Mishkan, about the Jews building this Dira B'Tachtonim, the Jews building this Beis HaMikdash, this place for Hashem to be in, to feel comfortable in our world, which is the whole point of our world. The Mishkan.
Not the Beis HaMikdash.
Well, it's the same thing. The Mishkan becomes the Beis HaMikdash. Now he starts by asking a kasha. He says that there's a halacha, there's a certain idea called ein anias b'makam ashiris. There is no poverty in a place of wealth. When something's wealthy, when something's like gold and wealth, that's not the place to add in tin. You don't mix. You don't mix. A place of wealth, you keep it wealth. You keep it fancy luxury. You don't add in, copper or stuff like that there. Okay? And he brings the halacha that when in order to skin the sacrifices, the animals, you give them water first, and you give them to drink water, and that helps the skinning, makes the skinning easier after the animal is killed. And that water had to be given to them with a gold cup. That water had to be given with a gold cup. So all this gold, all this fancy, all this, we know that there's no poverty in the place of wealth. And yet we have in the Mishkan, we have both gold, silver, and copper. Right? Gold and silver are very, very expensive, very chashuv, right? They discuss if somebody's buying gold with silver, which is the currency and which is the product, gold or silver. Which is the currency and which is the product, right? It's a Gemara in Bava Metzia. What's the currency? I'm buying gold bars with silver bars. Which is it depends. If one's considered the currency, then you pick up one thing, whatever the halachas are. But silver, even though gold is more luxury, is more rare, is more important, more chashuv. But silver is more. It's more usable. It's more over l'socher. It's more. You can spend it. More people accept silver than they accept gold, and so therefore it's more. It's easier to use, and therefore that's why silver is considered the currency. But gold is more important. Copper is not even on the list. Copper is not even on the list. So he asks, why can you have copper in the Beis HaMikdash? Why copper? Why gold, silver, and copper? Like just have it all gold. Just have it all gold. Why isn't it all gold? So we have these two questions. We have one, why does there seem to be a dumbing down of the materials required for the Beis Hamikdash. It should just all be gold. It should just all be the most chashiv.
We should all be Kohanim.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know, but let it all be gold. I mean, even this cup that you're giving to the animal to drink is gold. It's got to be gold. So if it's so makbid on gold, so then don't let any other thing in there. Let it with an image of gold. They had tons of gold. They had enough gold. Let it all be gold. Why put it in a lesser quality material, a lower important material into the Beis Hamikdash? And this is that so he's going to answer this question and also answer why this machlokes, this three-way machlokes. Okay? This three-way machlokes.
So basically the question really is, if there's aim aniyas b'makom ashiris, if there's no poverty amongst the wealthy in place of wealth, so you're basically asking why then are there things in the Mishkan and ultimately the Beis Hamikdash that in fact is not all of the highest possible quality.
It's not the highest possible material, right?
Like
There's copper.
The kier is nechoshes and the mizbeach is stone and and the shulchan is wood and the parts of it that are okay.
What about the marble columns?
That too.
Okay, so the question is gold, silver, copper. Gold, silver, copper. Why isn't it all gold? Okay, and then we're going to answer also. He's going to answer the three-way machlokes. The three-way machlokes, just to remind again, is that there's a three-way machlokes when exactly the timing of the command for the base to build the Mishkan was, and when they took the materials from the Jews to build the Beis Hamikdash. They took the Truma.
Just as a practical matter.
Yeah.
I mean, just as a balabas, certain things are just not appropriate for certain things. I mean, gold is soft, and it's not good to make columns that support a roof with gold. It's just not a good. It's not a good medium for that purpose. The gold for the mizbeach,
I mean, listen,
is reminding of the egel, so we don't want gold there. I mean, there are things that are just not appropriate.
I mean, wood was used. Things were plated. Things were plated with gold. So let everything be plated with gold. The structure's integrity is being really supported by the wood. So it's like we could work it out. Like we could work it out. Okay.
But one other thing, but if everything is gold is not special.
Well, everything in the world is not gold, but everything in the Mishkan can be gold.
If everything was covered in gold in the Mishkan, then what's so special about it?
I mean, why did Donald Trump cover everything in gold? I mean, why did Donald Trump cover everything in gold?
Because it's
the nicest. So cover everything. It's not that, because when you walk outside, you see nothing in gold. When you walk inside, you see everything in gold. Yeah. Why, when I walk inside, it's everything gold? All of a sudden, there's a silver thing. What's this silver? What's this copper thing? What happened? You ran out of budget. You need a copper thing now?
Right. Yeah,
okay.
Nice.
Okay. So he says, and David really was a little bit mechaven to this, because he's really that much of a nobody that he was so emptied of himself that he was able to mechaven to such an idea that these three materials represent three different ways of serving Hashem. Okay, so we have gold, silver, and copper. Gold is the Baal Tshuva. Let's start with silver. Silver is the tzaddik. Silver is chesed. Silver is the tzaddik. So silver, what is the tzaddik? The tzaddik's avoda is chesed. That's from up to down. Up to down. Chesed, like water. Water is chesed. Water flows from up to down. And that's what the tzaddik's job is. The tzaddik is to bring Hashem's shefa into the world. That's what he's doing. He doesn't have any problem. He doesn't have any ego. He doesn't have any self-interest. He's just a conduit for Hashem's shefa into the world. Okay? He's a general. He's just the kli that is bringing Hashem shefa into the world. That's chesed. That's silver.
He's the overless.
That's interesting.
And he's the Overla Soicher. He's the
He's
Overla
the guy who
Soicher.
has to mingle and
Well,
be a mashpia.
well,
get involved.
he's the one who's doing Torah and mitzvahs. He does Torah and mitzvahs. That's it.
Only
Your
Yosef
Torah and
is-
mitzvahs and your Torah and
only
mitzvahs.
Yosef and Tzaddik
Oh
is
God,
called
everybody's got
tzaddik.
Torah and mitzvahs.
So I'm saying the tzaddik is the person who goes out there, meets the challenges, and is a mashpia on life.
He doesn't have challenges really. I mean, his challenges are of a different.
Yosef has
His
challenges.
challenge. Yeah,
Yosef,
he was put into challenging situations,
Correct.
but he internally, he seems to be really okay all the time.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
Chazal don't say that.
really?
about Yosef.
Yeah, he was broken. He was depressed. He
I-
asked
there
the
was-
Sarah
there's-
Mashkin, the Sarah, how are you doing? How are you doing today?
Well,
All he's saying, Hashem will work it out.
there's a
Hashem will work it out.
medrash that
Hashem will work it
Yosef-
out.
There's a medrash that said that Yosef actually,
Went in there.
right, did his thing.
Well, he didn't do it, but he went in there to do it. He didn't do it, but he went. But he may have. Okay. All right. But that doesn't mean.
He had
That
his
doesn't mean
challenges.
that was after 1 year, 2 years. But in the prison all that whole time he was. I think he was
Well,
pretty
the point is
holding.
that he was there,
he had that
met his
dream.
Challenges and
Yes, he
So
met his
that's the
challenges.
tzaddik.
He met his challenges. He
He's
didn't
almost
fall.
like
He
silver.
didn't. He didn't
That's
give
nice,
in.
okay.
He was. And
But
silver,
that's-
actually, as we know, silver is incredibly conductive.
That's what I was going
It's incredibly conductive.
Electrons.
Yes.
Back to-
You put if you have silverware, if you have silverware, you have to be very careful with hot soup. You can't leave the spoon in the soup. You can't touch the spoon anymore.
more
It's so
conductive
conductive. It's so conductive. It's not as dense as gold. Okay, it's very conductive. It's very shiny. Okay, I actually put in this whole Dvar Torah into ChatGPT and asked it to tell me how scientifically gold, silver, and copper connect to these things.
cool.
So anyway, that's I feel a good
Okay, so
usage.
The
of it.
tzaddik is silver.
The tzaddik is
the
silver.
Baal Tshuva is
The Baal Tshuva is gold. The Baal Tshuva is gold. Why is the Baal Tshuva gold? Baal Tshuva is gold. Gold is gvura. Gold is gvura, right? It's red, and it's gvura, and it's the avoda of the Baal Tshuva, which is down to up, down to up. The Baal Tshuva is down, right? He sinned, but he's going to get back up there. He's getting back up there. He's getting back up there. He got down and he's pushing up. That's fire. Fire is gvura. Fire
Well,
goes
that's why
from
you said red.
down to up.
That's why you said red, because it's fire.
Yeah, well, gvura is red.
It's red.
Yeah.
Where do you see that?
Gvura red. Okay. Well, my wife just told me she heard Lazer Brody speaking, or Blazer Brody, and he said that there's a Gemara that says that the souls, the people that die al Kiddush Hashem, are souls of Gvura. You know that there are three kinds of Yiddish souls. There's the souls from Gvura, there's the souls from Chesed, and there's the souls from Tiferes. Okay, so when you meet a Jew, basically a Gvura Dika Jew, a Chesed Dika Jew, or a Tiferes Dika Jew. And so the Jews that die al Kiddush Hashem are those neshamas that were maskim to take the Gvura, to take the din, to die al Kiddush Hashem, to do that act of Gvura, which is to offset the midas adin, to Hashem's strict judgment. They'll take it. So those souls that come from Gvura, they're the ones who die al Kiddush Hashem,
Okay.
and that is represented by the red head,
The redhead. of
redheads, with the Bibas family. Like the redheads,
Besides that,
the red, that's red. Fire is
there were a lot
Gvura.
of people who died in Kiddush Hashem were not red.
I understand, but why are we celebrating this one family out of all the mothers and children and
Three
the
generations.
children of every? Well, it's happened before. I'm not saying it's a minimize it, but I mean everybody knows these people, but what's the difference? Why everybody? Nobody knows my great aunts and uncles.
So
They
your
don't know.
statement of red here now is because of.
No, I'm
So
just
what is
saying.
it? What is it?
Fire, like fire, Gvura goes
That's
up.
what I asked you.
That's red. Red is
Red
Gvura.
for
But
fire.
Chesed would be either white or blue. I don't know. I don't know all the how the different colors play in. But
So red is fire.
red is Gvura. I didn't make that up. This is what the Gemara says. It's red. And so he was saying that just like you see red, the red head is you can see a sign of that. It's a sign of that. The red head. Okay. So I married a Rothkopf. That means redhead.
Who's copper?
What?
Who is copper?
Okay, so that's gold. Gold is very dense. Okay.
Red is also representative of being, capable of reacting in a very definitive way like like
Gevuridik, being strict, being
red is also associated with
strict.
anger. Not only strict, but anger.
Who's copper?
Nothing to do with Rocco. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Then copper is the Rishayim. Copper is the Rishayim. It's not Chashav B'chlal. It's not Chashav B'chlal, and that's copper. And these
And we needed that in the base of Mikdash?
we needed that in the base of English.
The Rishayim?
We need that in the base of English. That's right. All you would think. Okay.
Same reason we need the 4 minim.
The chelbana, the 4 minim, the chelbana, which is the bad smelling thing.
What's 4 meters?
Copper is also antibacterial.
But silver they also use in refuah. Silver is used in medicine. Silver is used to heal. So the tzaddik.
I drink all the time.
On citrus.
You do?
Yeah, the aravas. The aravas don't have mitzvahs, don't have good deeds. They don't have Torah or mitzvahs. Aravas. You need to bring them all together. You need the tzaddik, you need the esrog, you need every yid.
Yeah, but that's not part of the structure of the base.
It sounds as if
Yeah, it's very similar.
everyone's all inclusive.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I just want to.
3 there.
Okay.
3 there and 4 here.
And why do we need copper in the base of English?
Not only do we need copper in the base of Mikdash, but copper actually holds up. They're the bases, the adonim of the courtyard, the where the columns of the courtyard were fit into copper foundations. To say that that's.
So why do we need them? Why
Hold on one second. Okay. Let's.
In
Okay.
Mishkan, it was silver that was the foundation.
What?
It was silver in the Mishkan.
No, not the
outside courtyard had gold plated columns sitting on copper adonim, copper foundations. So that's really that's the most external. That's the most external element. The most external element when you're going up into kedusha. That's the most external element. And when you get to Kodesh Kodashim, it was only gold. And the Kodesh Kodashim was only gold. Only the most chashiv.
Except Moshe Rabbeinu's staff was in the Kodesh Kodashim, which was probably not gold.
Well, also the broken luchos. There were luchos and the real luchos.
But that was inside the Aron.
Okay.
Nobody saw that. By the way, nobody saw
wasn't
any
the
of it.
Aron?
Nobody ever saw anything.
Wasn't the staff in the Aron also? And the Tzintzenes Haman?
It doesn't fit in the Aron.
Doesn't fit in the Aron. Nothing fits. There's no measure. There's no measure there. There's no measure there.
It's a machsad. Where did Kleisel put their carriages?
That was in the courtyard. In the lobby, they put the
There's a snowshoe.
Okay. So I want to just go back to the machlekes, the 3-way machlekes of when were these things, because this also fits to the same thing. Either we say that the Mishkan was commanded and everything was taken before Chet Egel. That symbolizes that they were all tzaddikim. That the Mishkan was instructed and everything was taken while they were still tzaddikim. That's the Mishkan that's of tzaddikim. So you think, okay, because why does it have to be then? Why did it have to be instructed then when everyone's tzaddikim? Because you would have thought that if the people are so tzaddikim and everyone's so tzaddikim, you don't have to be misasik in the world. You don't have to do it with. You don't have to be with the gashmias. You don't need a mishkan. You don't need to be involved in gashmias b'chlal. You're a tzaddik. Just go off in a cave. No, but don't talk to anybody. Do your own thing, and you're already good to go. You're good to go. You don't have to be involved in the world and in business or physical things. Yeah, just well.
That's where all the
But he was involved in the physical world, but in a purified place. Okay. So that's what you would. That would be the Havamina. The Havamina would be that the tzaddik doesn't need, the one who never sinned. He doesn't need a mishkan. He doesn't need to be involved in the physical world. He doesn't bring Hashem in to Gashmias to connect he doesn't have to be involved in that. No, he has to be involved in that. That's the opinion that they brought. They said the Mishkan, everybody was tzaddikim when they explained them, when they commanded the Mishkan, and when they took all the stuff. They were tzaddikim because the tzaddikim also need the Mishkan. Then there's the opinion that the Mishkan, that the instructions came all afterward, all after Yom Kippur. That was when they got the instruction and taken as Balei Tshuva. Balei Tshuva. The Balei Tshuva that they need the Mishkan. As Balei Tshuva, you need the Mishkan, right? That's not such a pella. But that you need the Mishkan, you have to be misasek in physical world. You have to devote the physical, world. You have to be. It's almost like the Baal Tshuva. That's who really needs it the most. They need to be involved in that the most. In the physical world, lifting up the physical world, bringing up the physical world. That's the avodah of the Baal Tshuva. And then there's the opinion that it was instructed before, but it wasn't collected until after the Chet Egel. It was instructed before Chet Egel, but it wasn't collected until after Chet Egel. And this is the Rasha. This is that they got the instruction while they were tzaddikim, but then they sinned. And while they were sinned, they still had the instruction. They still had the command. Even as Rishoyim, before they did tshuva, they had the instruction to build the Mishkan. So don't think that just a Russia is out of it. A Russia is also in it. They always can come back. The Russia is also in it. And that's that opinion. That opinion highlights that element of the Mishkan. See, it's not that these opinions, they're all right. They're all right, these opinions, because they're all speaking to a truth about the Mishkan. How could they all have happened chronologically? It doesn't seem like it's possible. I don't know how it looked. But each one is telling a truth about the Mishkan. That this is for a Russia. The Mishkan was for Rishoyim. How do I know? Because it was instructed to tzaddikim, they became Rishoyim, and they still were instructed. And then they collected after they did tshuva. So that the Russia is he's still open. You want to come back, you're more than welcome. You're always welcome. The Russia, the Mishkan is also for the Russia. The Mishkan, the option of the Mishkan is still there for the Russia.
Maybe the collection took that much time from Tzaddik to
That opinion held the collection started after Yom Kippur.
Or it started before the Egel and it ended after Yom Kippur. And therefore, it would all fall in line with exactly what the Rebbe said.
I think the opinion is that the collection didn't happen until after Yom Kippur. It was divided.
If you just put a little gloss on it, put a little spin on the ball.
All right. Either I don't know how much you can spin in this opinion, how clearly it says when the collection was. But they had the chiyuv. They had the chiyuv even when they were Rishoyim. Even though they were Rishoyim, they had the chiyuv.
Quickly bring his
Lo lav dafka, but you can see that the chiyuv for the Mishkan was by the Rishoyim. Was by the Rishoyim. The chiyuv was by the tzaddikim. The chiyuv was by the Balei Tshuva, and the chiyuv was by the Rishoyim.
But because the Torah says, "Give to your heart's desire," that's the lashon of the pasuk. You won't see the Rishoyim giving the gold. Nor will you see the Rishoyim giving the silver.
But they have the chiyuv. But they have the chiyuv. Don't tell me that the chiyuv was just for the tzaddik or the chiyuv was just for the Baal Tshuva. The chiyuv is also for the Rasha. And the Rasha, not only does he have a part in the Beis HaMikdash, he's the Adonim. He is the Adonim in the exterior courtyard. He's the one holding up. He's the one who's the most external foundation of the whole thing.
Right. You have to define Rasha. Exactly. I don't know what. We're not talking about an evil,
We're talking about somebody who sinned, who didn't yet do tshuva.
Who's not perfect.
Obviously, they're not perfect. But a Baal Tshuva is also not perfect.
I resemble that remark.
About Truma is far more perfect than a Russia, and maybe it's tzaddik.
I don't know what we mean by perfect. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so what is a tzaddik?
A tzaddik is somebody who, listen. There's two. Tzaddik has two meanings. Tzaddik can be referring to a person's deeds, or a tzaddik can refer to the kind of neshama that they have. Okay. So a tzaddik, if it's referring to a person's deeds, if you're like the Rambam, so how the Rambam talks about in Rosh Hashanah, that, or the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, that if you're chetzi, if you got 51% good deeds and 49% averas, you're a tzaddik. So that's a tzaddik in terms of number of deeds. So then, and a Russia would be 51 bad, right?
Right.
But then there's a level of then there's tzaddik, meaning the way the Tanya means tzaddik is that they have a neshama that their nefesh bahamis is not bichlal an obstacle to avodas Hashem.
Okay.
They don't have an inner struggle. They don't have an inner struggle. They may be put in difficult situations, but like Yosef at Tzaddik,
Clarity.
they have total clarity. They're not conflicted inside.
Okay.
If they just went on autopilot, it would be all Torah and mitzvahs.
They would be
Okay.
transparent.
What?
They would be the transparent.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
They don't have an inner struggle, and those are sprinkled throughout history. You know, a generation gets one or two. You know,
Yeah.
it's sprinkled. It's like the general versus the foot soldiers. You got one general. You know, you don't need a bunch of generals. Okay, but all the foot soldiers are those that have the nefesh bahamis. Even though our deeds, we may be tzaddikim in our deeds, we don't do anything bad, or we do 99.9% good, but we still fall off every once in a while. That we're still a Beinoni neshama. A Beinoni neshama is someone who is pretty much a Russia because they do evil. They do evil from time to time. They break Hashem's rules from time to time.
It's not evil.
Well, it's evil. It's evil. It's wicked. It's terrible. It's awful. Hashem hates it. It's disgusting. But it's our animal soul that wants that, and the Beinonis, the best place a Beinoni can get to, the highest level a Beinoni can get to, is where they do not listen to their animal, the nefesh bahamis at all. Their nefesh bahamis is a partner with them. It's a good partner. Everything's done through the nefesh bahamis. It's all our animal soul doing everything and working with us. But we do not accept the taivas or the pushes from the animal soul. We hear them. We saw something out of the corner of our eye, and something tells us to look, but we don't look. Okay, that's the best we can get to. We'll have that voice, but we'll never listen to
And
it.
a tzaddik is not
A
that.
tzaddik doesn't have that voice. He doesn't have that voice telling him to look.
He has no yetzer.
He doesn't have a Yetzer Hara.
Tzaddik doesn't
A
have
tzaddik doesn't really have a Yetzer Hara. A tzaddik, according to the Tanya, doesn't have a Yetzer Hara. That's why they're very few and far between. That's not the point. The point is not to not have a Yetzer Hara. They're just here to bring down the shefa. You know, Hashem is just they're just like a pure conduit. That's silver. You know, they're white, they're silver. They're not complicated. They just, you know, it all goes. They may be put in difficult situations, and maybe their exterior gets a little tarnished, but they're fine conduits. The Beinoni, which we are all Beinonis, if we ever fall to our evil inclination at all, then we're not a Beinoni, we're a Rasha. But we have the ability, we have a Beinoni neshama in that the best we can get to is to just make sure all thought, speech, and action are all in line with the Rebbeinu Shalom's will and not breaking his will.
So the Beinoni and the Russia are
The same.
rubbing on the same.
They're basically the same neshama.
Right.
But until somebody perfects
disagree.
themselves,
Okay, so
it's basically the chiddush of the Tanya is 99% of the population cannot perfect themselves to not have a Yetzer Hara.
but when you're describing the Russia in this context of the base, I think there's
Yeah.
copper versus silver.
Yeah.
You're making it sound like very, very different kinds of people. Where in essence, this Russia and tzaddik are like not tzaddik. This Russia and Beinoni.
The Baal Tshuva, let's say. Baal Tshuva, he struggled with evil, or he struggles with evil. He struggles with his nefesh bahamis. He struggles with the want to do bad.
Where is this Baal Tshuva now in his trajectory?
He may be a Beinoni. He may be a perfect Beinoni.
Maybe it's tzaddik.
Not in the Shama. He may be, again, we have tzaddik in deeds, and we have tzaddik in the Shama.
Good.
So the Baal Tshuva
Why
is
isn't he
not
tzaddik?
ever going to be a tzaddik in the Shama, pretty
Why?
much. Because that doesn't really happen. It doesn't really happen. The best place that, unless people are extremely, like David HaMelech, he was able to use fasting to banish his Yetzer Hara. And he was able to do that. But most people, the best they're going to get is perfect thought, speech, and action. perfect thought, speech, and action, but they will still have a hankering for a ham sandwich, but they will never entertain the idea or for sure not go after it.
Are we not all Bali Tshuva?
We are all Bali Tshuva, but we all fall continuously, and we all, yes, that's our vote. Our vote is the Bali Tshuva.
Right.
Right.
So we're all Bali Tshuva, hopefully. We should be Sicha.
But we're Bali Tshuva who also become Rishonim, then become back to Bali Tshuva, then who become Rishonim.
So how do you categorize? So, but you seem to have a category of Bali Tshuva that is part of this Aleph.
Yeah. Well,
So why the Rush is also potentially a Bali Tshuva.
Absolutely, but he hasn't done yet
Beinoni
Tshuva. He hasn't done the Beinoni is just a Beinoni is just a category of the Beinoni could be a Rasha, the Beinoni
Correct.
could be a Tzaddik.
That's my point.
But he's the Beinoni is I'm using it right now is the kind of soul the person has. A soul the person has, meaning he has internal conflict. A Beinoni has internal conflict.
So,
How a Beinoni, that's all of us, right? We all have internal conflict.
correct.
So we can so the best we can get to, we're never going to be able to remove the internal conflict. The internal conflict will never go away. That's not what our job is, to be no internal conflict. Perfect internal. But what we are responsible for is, and what we have the ability to do, is become perfect in our thought, speech, and action. We have, all of us, have the ability to become perfect in our thought, speech, and action, despite having hankerings and internal conflictions. But as long as because we have the ability to change our thinking. We have the ability. We have control over our thinking. We can tell ourselves things. We can listen to things. We can give ourselves things. We can take actions that help. We can speak things that help. We can think things that help. And we can, if we think correctly and realize correctly what the reality is, we can all of us can perfect our thought, speech, and action. Can have perfect thought, speech, and action.
And then at which point you become a Beinoni.
You become the perfect Beinoni. Because the inner conflict never goes away.
And the perfect Beinoni is, in your understanding,
He will look
is
no
not
different than a
tzaddik.
tzaddik. He'll look no different than a tzaddik
Okay,
neshama.
but
He'll have internal conflict.
and a tzaddik does not.
They don't. They could be born
So
that way.
tzaddik
They
is
could
a
be
malach.
born that way.
A tzaddik is
This
a
is shtickle malach. Shtickle malach. Yeah, I mean, listen, they have difficult situations. They have difficult situations, but yeah, there's such a thing. There's such a thing. Bendosa. There are people that lived in different times that either they were born that way, or they, like David HaMelech, he did something very extreme, and he was given a gift to have it taken away. It's a gift. It's a chesed for it to be taken away. Otherwise, we still have the nefesh bahamas. The Yetzer Hara never dies. That's not the point, to be perfect without internal struggle. The point is to have internal struggle and to be victorious.
So Avraham Avinu was not a tzaddik.
Avram Avinu was a tzaddik. Avram Avinu was a tzaddik. He was. Avram Avinu, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov they did not do anything that contradicted the will of Hashem. In their entire life, they were completely their group.
That's not your definition. Your definition is where there are no internal.
Well, they didn't have any mitzvahs. They did not have any internal struggles.
Intuitively,
they did not have internal struggles.
Intuitively, they were Makayim called Torah.
They had external struggles. They had external struggles, but they did not have internal struggles. Avram Avinu, he had external struggles. He was thrown into a fiery furnace. He was brought to Israel, and then there was a famine. That's an external struggle.
Well, he had a struggle. He had an intellectual struggle in bringing his only son in his mind to.
What was the struggle? I didn't see an intellectual struggle. Where was the intellectual struggle? He was struggling to.
You promised my children to go into the land of Israel, and there'll be all the Yerusha and the Nachla, a great nation, and now you want me to shech them.
He didn't say that to Hashem. He said, okay. He said, okay.
Right, he's going to do.
He didn't question. He didn't question the Rebbeinu Shalom. The only time he did question the Rebbeinu Shalom, was b'me'eda. I don't believe you. B'me'eda. How do I know? No. And that was something that was obviously necessary. That was something that Hashem put in him to say. It was a mistake. It was kilu a mistake. It was kilu like a lack of faith.
Okay.
But it was necessary for him to say that because what he did made us have to go through Mitzrayim. Basically, we're always doing plan B to get to plan A, right? The plan A was Adam and Chava, they were supposed to go into the guy, everything a happy ending.
Right.
No, plan B. So the fact that Hashem made it to go to plan B, that was on purpose. Plan B is part of what's necessary to get to the real plan A. So Avram Avinu, that was kind of put in him to say that. His mind that Hashem gave him couldn't figure out how you're going to promise me how all my children are going to inherit the land. An inheritance has nothing to do with merit, right? So Avraham Avinu couldn't get how you're promising that my kids are going to inherit something that they don't merit. And that just he couldn't understand. No, that's what it is. That's what it is.
To be on the Akedah.
What? No. The Akedah he had no problem with. The Akedah he didn't have any problem with. He did not question the Rebbeinu Shalom. He did not question the Rebbeinu Shalom on the Akedah. He did not.
Okay.
He did not. And that was
And Yaakov Avinu was not afraid of Esav?
Oh, being afraid is not a problem. Being afraid is not a problem. There's no bitachon without fear. There's no bitachon without fear. If you have no fear, then there's no bitachon. If you don't care about money, you're not called generous when you give it out.
That fear was not instigated by the Yetzer Hara?
Well, why is fear instigated by the Yetzer Hara? When you cross the street, there's a huge semi coming at you. That's the Yetzer Hara.
If you're reminded of Hashem, why should you have that fear? Hashem said, "I'm going to protect
There's mamish a tractor trailer coming right to me. There's a tractor trailer coming right to me. Why should I be afraid?
Correct.
Yeah.
Why should you
That's
be
not the
afraid?
Yetzer Hara. It's not the Yetzer Hara. That's an external thing. It arouses fear. Why is that the Yetzer Hara? It's how I react to that. And I get myself together. He did it. The Shtadlis, he did what he needed to do. With the fear, we can have fear. Fear is not necessarily the Yetzer Hara. Gvura, there's fear of God, there's love of God. Fear is a primal emotion. It's not a Yetzer Hara, Yetzer Tov thing necessarily.
And what you're referring to is not fear, it's awe.
He's referring
To
to
me,
the
or-
primal
Well,
emotion.
still the same word.
Yetzirah, that's that's interesting because Yetzirah we call the animal soul, right? Or
Well, the animal
I
soul.
think that's where the confusion may be.
Listen, where does the Yetzer Hara? The Yetzer Hara lives in our heart. The animal soul is more than just the Yetzer Hara that lives in our heart.
It's that small piece of
The
that neck.
No, that's a different thing.
Okay.
That's a different thing. But the animal soul is something that lives in our blood. The animal soul is our. It's our whole life force. Is the animal soul? Is our whole life
And that's
that
separate
we're.
from Yetzirah, so they're
The Yetzer Hara is in there. It's in there. But the animal soul doesn't need a Yetzer Hara to live. It's not identified necessarily the Yetzer Hara.
okay.
But that's where the Yetzer Hara lives, in the animal soul, lives in the heart there. But it's not. They're not equivalent. They're not the same thing.
But
We are going to. We're going to live with the animal soul when Mashiach comes without the Yetzer Hara. We will. That's where Dira B'Tachtonim will be manifest when we are living with our animal soul without the Yetzer Hara. So there will be no, and the animal soul, will, in a certain sense, come to be higher than the godly soul.
Free choice?
What?
Will we lose our free choice? We don't have a Yetzer Hara.
It would be almost as though
We don't. We
there's such clarity.
free choice is a really it's a very difficult sugya. Free choice is a very, very complicated sugya. And we're not going to get into it right now. But basically, we should all know that wherever we're holding, we're all part of the Beis HaMikdash. We're all shaykh. And a tzaddik who thinks that he doesn't have to do anything with a Rasha, or a Baal Tshuva says, "Oh, I can't deal with the Rishonim." That's not how it works. That's not how it works. In order for a Dira B'Tachtonim, everybody has to be Isaac. Everybody's involved. If the tzivui would have just been here, you would have thought, oh, this whole Inyan is just for that kind of Jew, I don't need to be. No, it's for every single one. It's for all of us, and that's why there's a machlokas about it. There's no machlokas. It's all pointing to the same thing, that we're all part of it. No matter where we're coming from, we're all part of it. We're all there. We're all represented. and we need to feel a part of. It's a machlekes, but it's elu ve'elu divrei Elokim chaim. Elu divrei Elokim chaim. They're not saying you're wrong. You're also
they're
right.
not contradictory.
They are contradictory in a certain sense because you can't have them.
In terms of
Either
the
was
message,
instructed here,
in
instructed
terms
there,
of
instructed
the
there.
lesson that we should learn from it, it's not a contradiction. In terms
Exactly.
of what happened in history.
Exactly, and that's what the machlekes is about. That's what each are bringing out. They're not arguing with each other. They're just highlighting different facets. Okay? Yeah.